Today we're drawing this little hummingbird. So we're going to start, like we start all our drawings, by looking for the shapes. And I could start with this branch if I want to sort of help me place my hummingbird. So I could bring my branch up about like that, sort of moving upward. Now I have a place for my bird to sit, and I'm looking at his body, and it could be a rectangle or it could be a big oval. I'm going to go ahead and include his neck in this shape that I'm drawing. And it's leaning ever so slightly. It's almost, maybe it's a combination of both a rectangle and an oval. And it's bigger, he's bigger down here than he is at the top of his neck, right? I'm adding that in. Then on the other side of the branch, make my branch a little wider, I have this triangle down here, the start of his tail feathers. Really, it's like two triangles. Do you see that? And then he's got these long feathers that come down and loop. And then the other one comes down and loops. So there's his body and his tail. And now if I work my way up to his head is an oval and it gets very small at his beak. So maybe something like this. And again, I might change these shapes. I'm just getting him on the paper. Make sure he can fit in that. You all can see him on the screen. So I have this little wing here, kind of coming up about here. And I can sort of tell based on how far away it is from his head. And then the bottom of his wing, I go up a little bit, and then there's the bottom of his wing. And that wing could be an oval shape, couldn't it? So it does bend a little bit right there, but you could make it like an oval. And his other wing goes up much higher. So I come down off his head about here. I'm going to go way up here. It's going very high. And then it attaches back down to his body. So there he is as shapes. So now let's look at all the different lines and how they connect and exactly where they go to help him look a little more believable. So I'll start up here at his head. So if I'm the little bug crawling along this paper and I'm crawling along the edge of this line, I'll go up this way and I'm crawling up. His head is quite flat on top, isn't it? And it comes down. So my shape was pretty good. I'm following it pretty closely, but if I wasn't, that's okay, because there is always room to change, so if I come way out for his beak, comes way out like that into a little point, right? As I'm coming back, look how it curves in. Mine doesn't do that. So here's where I'm going to start changing it to match these lines. I'm going to curve in. And then it sort of curves down like that. And that's where his wing comes in. So we've talked about negative space before. And the negative space is this space in here where there is no picture. And this forms a shape too. Can you see that shape? So I can make it match on my drawing, and that will help me get these lines in the right place. Because if I look at mine, so I think his head is about the same size as that head, but look at my negative space here. It's much bigger here than it is over here, which tells me I need to move his wing up. So if I'm looking at this, I'm curving down. I'm moving this wing up like that. Then I'm going to move it. It's going to go out like this, and then it curves down, doesn't it? And I think it's a good length. It just needed to come up higher. So I didn't follow my line exactly, but that's okay. And then this is the diagonal line going up. I'm going to move that a little bit too. So look, I didn't follow my line exactly, but that's why, one of the reasons I keep an eraser on hand, because as I get these lines more exact, I can erase those. All right, then I'm going to, so I'm going back to his body now. His body curves out a little bit and in, then out a little bit to the foot. And I think his body actually may be a little long. I think it would end right about there. So I may have to move his branch up a little bit, but that's okay. And then his little foot, I think, comes in right here. The branch, side of the branch is there. He's got some other little claws here. His other leg. I'm gonna go up this side and see if I was right. And I think I like that. I like that shorter body. And then this wing, so it's going to come up like this. And this wing is going to go straight up. I think about that far. It's going to have a nice curve down that wing, which mine needs that curve to get to about here. And then it comes in like that. All right, there's his wings. Looking at it, as I look on at the reference picture and then at this, I can see this wing should curve more. It could curve more this way. And that's probably a little closer. Okay, and then I'm making his branch. Well, actually, it might be okay because the branch is down from the feet a little ways. So the branch is probably about this wide, probably a little wider than I had it. And then we have this feather here, this feather here. Actually, I think that's several feathers. This long tail feather here. I'm looking at this negative space again between those feathers. And there he is. There's his shape. So I'm pretty pleased with this. So then I can go in. I can get rid of this. Don't need that line anymore. I don't need this line. But for his eye is right in line with his beak, isn't it? So if this is his beak right here, his eye would be right about here, right in line with it. And I can color it in and leave that little catch light, which you can really see in this photo. And I could, now looking at it, might be a little far back. Well, maybe it's okay. But I can add in all these little dark areas for feathers. I have this picture is in black and white, so I can see all the gray areas and the areas that are darker. You know, so I could color in some little feathers like that. It gets a little bit darker right in here with the feathers. Some more little feathery spots this way. Then he's much lighter on his chest, and then he has these darker feathers around here. These are all very short feathers. And a lot of shading down here. So you could do these feathers like this. There's a lot of ways you can draw feathers. I'm just sort of giving an impression of feathers. And I'll probably even shade them in a little bit. Like that, just to make this stand out a little more. I don't know that we need this line. Then his wing, it comes up about like that, right? And he's got all these little feathers on here. Lots and lots of little feathers. And you can just make marks to show the feathers. You could draw the feathers in, or you could just shade them in, or just even do the outlines. And that's known as a line drawing. So line drawing is it's a simple drawing of something. And it does not have all these details or all this shading. So I'm just going back and adding these. I see these different feathers are a little bit dark here. This probably should be bigger. But you see these dark ends of the feathers going on here. So you can add all those in if you want all this detail. On the top, these feathers are curving down. And then it looks like there's some more feathers there. And as you're coming down, they point downward more. And then you could color these in if you want to be very detailed. They're darker on one side and lighter on the other side. And then you could even shade a little bit of that in. So you can get all of this detail in your bird. Looks like there's some smaller feathers come out this way. So I'm not being, too exact, but I am getting him on there with some detail. Let me go ahead and add that. Okay, and then we can go down and we can darken up the tail feathers. Darken up this tail feather. You can see all of this has a gray tone because it all has some kind of color or shadow. I darkened up his tail. Let's see. If I want to do anything with this wing, it looks like the shorter feathers come to about here. That's where his little bones are. Little wing bones there. And so this is a darker area up in here. All of this is darker, darker, darker. And then he's got all of these little feathers down in here too. And some you can see parts of them. Looks like where those dark lines we see, I think it's an overlapping of the feathers. I think that's what's causing those dark lines. And this one they are a little bit uneven on the ends. On the other wing, they definitely are uneven. And it almost has a little scalloped look at the start. You can draw in these feathers here. And the little dark parts where they overlap, or you could just do it like this. And I have long lines going all the way from the end of the wing to the part where these feathers attach. So you could do something as simple as that. Well, since I colored the other one in, I'm going to go ahead and color this one in a little bit. And I could go back through and add these darker overlapping areas where the feathers are overlapping each other. And so you could keep working on this bird for quite a while more to get him even more detailed. But just check out your reference picture and try to make him match. Oh, and with the lower part of this branch, if we add a little bit of a shadow to it, it'll look a little bit more like he's sitting on a branch. And there we go. There's our hummingbird. And I hope you had fun with him, and I'll see you tomorrow.